After my aunt took me in as a teen, she forced me to work in her salon without pay, calling it rent. When I asked for freedom, she said, "You'd be on the streets without me." I left with nothing. 10 years later, she lost the salon in a lawsuit, not knowing I was the anonymous buyer who shut it down. The day she showed up begging for help, I slid her an envelope with my name and said, "When I was 15, my mom died suddenly. Heart failure." One day she was making pancakes, the next she was gone. We lived in a small apartment in Henderson, Nevada, just the two of us. No dad, no siblings. Just her and me. I don't remember much from that week except the silence. It was too loud. I barely even remember the funeral. After that, nobody came for me. No family stepped up. I stayed at a neighbor's for 2 nights before my mom's older sister, Carla, said she'd take me in. I didn't know her well. She showed up late to the funeral, wearing sunglasses and talking about how busy she'd been. But she had a house, a car, her own business. Compared to what I was facing, she looked like safety. I moved into her place on the east side of Vegas. She owned a salon called Glow Theory. It looked nice from the outside, bright sign, faux marble floors, fake plants in gold pots. The kind of place that charged you $60 for a blowout. The first night there, she showed me the basement. Just a couch, a folding table, and a bathroom that didn't fully work. "It's not fancy," she said, "but you're not paying rent, so don't complain." That became the theme. From day one, she put me to work. I was shampooing hair, folding towels, sweeping hair off floors, cleaning out clogged drains. I thought I was just helping until she told me straight up, "This is your rent. You work, you stay. You don't work, you find another place to sleep." I was 15. I tried to balance school and the salon. But if I had homework, she'd scoff. "You're not going to be some lawyer. Be useful." When I said I wanted to try out for the school play, she laughed in my face. "You're not an actress. We're not wasting time on that." By 16, I was doing full-time work after school and every weekend. No pay. No appreciation. She'd yell at me if a client didn't like how I folded their robe. She once threw a hairbrush at me for using the wrong conditioner. When I asked if I could work part-time at a nearby bookstore to save money, she lost it. "You'd be on the streets without me," she said, jabbing a finger at my chest. "You don't get to act like you're grown when I'm the one feeding you." Feeding me? I lived on leftovers and dry cereal. If she cooked, I wasn't allowed to touch it until she was done. If I bought my own snacks with what little I got from tips that she sometimes took, she called it ungrateful. I stayed because I had nowhere else to go. But the resentment grew like rust. Quiet at first, then spreading everywhere. By the time I turned 18, I was tired, worn out. No college plans because I didn't have time to apply. No savings because I had no income. One night, I asked her if I could take a gap year and figure out my life. Maybe community college, maybe move in with a friend. She didn't even pause the TV. "You've had it easy," she said. "I didn't get handouts. I worked for everything I have. You think you deserve time off? Get real." That was it for me. I packed my stuff in a garbage bag, waited until she passed out drunk, half a bottle of Chardonnay in, and walked out. Took the last bus to Phoenix. Slept at a rest stop the first night. I had no plan, no contacts, nothing. It was hard. Harder than anything I'd faced. I couch surfed. I cleaned motel bathrooms. I took cash jobs off Craigslist. But for the first time, everything I earned was mine. Eventually, I found work with a drywall crew. A guy named Nate gave me a shot, taught me how to tape seams, hang panels, work a lift. I learned fast, worked harder than anyone, saved everything. Over the next 8 years, I built a real life, got certified, took night classes, started my own small remodeling business by 25. I wasn't rich, but I was proud, and no one owned me. Then I started hearing things. A former client of Carla's recognized me on Facebook. She messaged me saying, "You probably don't want to hear this, but your aunt's in trouble." Turns out, Carla had been sued by one of her own stylists. Wage theft. Unsafe conditions. She was still pulling the same crap she did with me. Only now she was doing it to employees with kids and rent and real bills. The lawsuit spiraled. 3 more ex-workers came forward. One had medical bills from a slip and fall in the back room. Another had text messages showing Carla demanding unpaid overtime. The court didn't go easy on her. She lost. Big. Fines, damages, settlements. Her savings vanished. Then the bank foreclosed on the building. Her salon went up for sale. And that's when I made my move. I didn't buy it in my name, of course. I had a friend who handled real estate deals help me set up an LLC. We made a clean, quiet offer. Got it under market value because the place had so many issues. Once it was mine, I gutted it. Tore out the fake marble, the tacky wallpaper, the broken chairs. I built it into something useful, rented it out as creative studio space. Gave people like me a place to work on their terms. I left one room untouched. The old front office. I kept it just as it was, because I knew one day she'd come looking. And last month she did. She showed up looking like someone who'd lost a war. Greasy hair pulled back, knockoff purse, sandals with a broken strap. She walked in like she owned the place, until she saw me sitting there. She didn't recognize me right away. 10 years will do that. But I recognized her instantly. When I said her name, she froze. "Do I know you?" she asked. I didn't answer. Just slid an envelope across the desk. She opened it. Read the papers. Saw the buyer's name. My name. Her face fell. "I didn't know," she whispered. I didn't know." "I know," I said. That was the point. She looked up at me, eyes already glassy. "I'm broke," she said. "I lost everything. I have nowhere to go." I didn't know where else to turn. I stared at her. This woman who told me I owed her my life. Who called my grief a burden. Who said I'd be on the streets without her. Now she was the one begging for help. I stood up, looked her dead in the eyes. And I said, "You'd be on the streets without me." Then I walked out. I thought that would be it. Me walking out, her realizing who I'd become, that was supposed to be the last scene. I figured she'd disappear, or go crawl to someone else for help. But she didn't. 2 days later, I saw her again. She was standing outside the building when I pulled into the lot. Hair tied back, makeup caked on, like she was trying to look put together. But the truth was in her eyes. She was desperate. "I just need to talk," she said. I didn't want to, but something in me wanted to hear what lie she'd try next. We sat in the back corner of the old break room. She looked around like she was seeing a ghost. "I built this place," she said, almost proud. "I worked so hard, I didn't say anything." She looked at me. "I'm staying in a shelter. Some nights, I sleep in my car. I've got arthritis. I can't stand on my feet long anymore. They won't hire me. I've got nothing." There it was. The guilt pitch. "I know I wasn't fair to you," she continued. "But I raised you. I kept you off the street. You owe me that much." I laughed. Out loud. Couldn't help it. "You think you raised me? You used me. Like a maid. Like an unpaid worker. You kept me in a basement." Her eyes flared. "I gave you a roof. You gave me trauma." We didn't speak for a while. Then she said the part that really showed her hand. "What if we partner?" she asked. "You own the building, but I know the business. We could open a new salon. You'd handle the money, I'd run the floor." I stared at her like she'd lost her mind. "You still think you're the boss here?" "I've got connections," she said, fast, desperate. "I can rebuild. You just have to let me." She still didn't get it. She still saw me as the scared kid who folded towels, not the adult who bought her whole damn life out from under her. I stood up. "You're not getting a second chance with me. You don't deserve one." I walked out again. Thought it was over. It wasn't. She started showing up during business hours, talking to tenants, asking questions, telling people we were family, that we were working things out. A few believed her. Then one of the stylists texted me. "Hey, this woman, Carla, was asking about leasing terms. She said she's managing now." I was pissed. She was trying to worm her way back in, using my name like it was a favor she had earned. I called security and had her removed, changed the building's access codes, sent a message out to all tenants making it clear she had no affiliation with us. Period. I thought she'd back off after that, but then she went low. She posted about me online. Facebook, local salon groups, anywhere she could still log in. Said I was a thief. Said I stole her legacy. Said I manipulated her in court and took advantage of a grieving old woman. She even posted a photo of us from years ago, me at 16, sweeping hair in the background, captioned, "I took her in when no one else would. This is how she repays me." A few people reached out. Some believed her. Old clients, church folks, people who had no idea what really happened. I wanted to scream. She was doing what she always did, rewriting history to make herself the victim. But this time, I had power, and records, and leverage. I wasn't done with her yet. A week after the online posts, I got a call from someone I hadn't heard from in years, Kendra, one of Carla's former stylists. She used to work under Carla when I was still living in that basement. She was in her 20s back then, loud, funny, always sneaking me candy when Carla wasn't looking. "I saw what she's been posting," Kendra said. "But that's not why I'm calling." She told me something I didn't expect. She's talking to lawyers again. Not for the salon stuff. She's saying you coerced her into signing over assets. That she was mentally unwell when she sold the place. I didn't even respond at first. Just let the silence sit. "She's trying to sue me?" I said finally. Or threatened to. Either way, she's telling people she's going to get everything back. That's when I knew Carla wasn't just desperate. She was spiraling. She was trying to flip the script, maybe thinking she could wear me down or get a payout to go away. So I did what I always do. I prepared. I pulled every receipt, every lease record, every signed sale document. I got affidavits from contractors, stylists, even the original real estate agent. My lawyer reviewed everything and just shook his head. "She's bluffing," he said. But she could stir up trouble if she finds a lawyer who doesn't vet her first. Then came another twist. One of my newer tenants, a quiet guy named Jorge who ran a barber station in the back, came into my office holding his phone. He showed me a message from Carla. She'd contacted him directly. She offered to pay me cash if I'd say you forged documents, he said, eyebrows raised. I told her to go to hell. But you should know, she's not just talking. I was stunned and angry. But I wasn't surprised. Carla didn't just want help. She wanted control again. And she'd torch my name if it meant taking me down. But here's the thing. In trying to get revenge on me, she opened a door I hadn't walked through yet. One I'd left shut out of decency. I'd never reported her for what she did to me when I was a teenager. The unpaid labor. The verbal abuse. The falsified banking errands she made me run in her name. But now, if she wanted to bring the law into this, I had every right to do the same. So, I started building my own case. I contacted 2 former stylists who were part of the original lawsuit, women who'd signed NDAs for a low payout because they were too tired to fight. They told me things I didn't even know, how Carla skimmed from their commission checks, made them pay for broken tools she claimed they damaged, even locked the back door during shifts to keep them from taking breaks. I wasn't the only one she'd tried to own. And then the final twist landed. Hard. A certified letter showed up at my apartment. Not from her. From her lawyer. She was formally demanding a share of the current business revenue based on her foundational contributions to the location, claiming emotional damages and exploitation of her image and reputation. She was suing me. I looked down at the paper. I felt nothing at first. Then I smiled. She had no idea what I had in store for her next. I didn't waste time. The day after I got the lawsuit letter, I sat down with my lawyer and filed a counterclaim. Not just for defamation, though we had plenty of that, but for unpaid labor, underage exploitation, and financial fraud. We had years of text messages, eyewitnesses, even old photos that backed it all up. I gave a full deposition. Told everything. The shampooing, the yelling, the nights I slept on that basement couch with no heat. The errands I ran in her name at 16, The way she'd threatened to throw me out if I ever said no. My lawyer said we could pursue civil damages and even hint at criminal ones if she pushed it. Then we found the nail in the coffin. A bank clerk, someone who'd worked there when I used to make deposits for her, agreed to testify. He remembered me clearly. A miner coming in with envelopes of cash under Carla's name. No ID. No paperwork. Just blind trust. It was enough. When Carla got served with the countersuit, her lawyer dropped her 2 days later. She tried calling me after that 6 times. I didn't answer. She showed up at the building one last time, banging on the glass doors, screaming about family and how I was destroying her life. Security removed her. I didn't even go down to watch. The court date came fast. She showed up alone. No lawyer. Just an old beige purse and a stack of wrinkled papers. When the judge asked her for opening remarks, she rambled about legacy and betrayal and how she gave me everything. Then my lawyer stood up. He didn't yell, didn't dramatize, just presented the facts. The years of unpaid labor, the financial records, the witnesses, the texts where she admitted I was earning my keep, and finally, my own sworn statement, reading aloud the sentence she once threw in my face like a knife. You'd be on the streets without me. The courtroom went quiet. It was over in 20 minutes. The judge dismissed her claim with prejudice. She couldn't refile. Then he ordered a payment to me, damages for labor and emotional harm. Not millions, but enough to make her choke. She stood there shaking, tried to protest, but no one listened. She was nothing now. 2 weeks later, I got a cashier's check. Not from her. It came from the forced sale of her last remaining asset, her car. The one she used to drive me around like an errand girl. I framed a photocopy of that check, hung it in my office, right above my desk. It's not about the money. Never was. It was about her finally seeing me, not as the scared girl she could control, but as the woman who didn't need her anymore. I didn't just walk away from her. I buried the part of me that still needed her to care. That was the real revenge. And she'll live with it forever.